here I am working on the 61 again, and I mentioned that I was going to put that Outcast Customs lowering brackets on this front end, the Crown Vic, and that's what I'm doing. And I started one side without doing any video recording because I wanted to see, you know, where I was at and how things were going. And then so now I'm gonna basically get started on the other side. I'm gonna finish putting this side together. I'll show you where I'm at, and then I'm gonna put the other side together. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you somewhat of a detail. It's kind of hard because each application, where you're at and what you buy, is gonna dictate, you know, really what you need. But I'm gonna try to get pretty, you know, detailed on what you're gonna need to pick up before you start this. Know this though, that you're probably going to need a few other things. There's probably going to be something, because this is definitely, you know, a custom thing. So anyway, here's what I've got so far. On the passenger side, I've got it drilled and tapped. I cut the end of the bolts off flush, so that's where I'm at with those. The big bolt in the middle, I couldn't get short enough, so I got the others the same size, and just, you know, decided that I'd have to cut them flush. But I'll start putting this thing back together, and I'll show you why you're gonna need to cut them and not just leave that excess. You'll see. Okay, so I got this strut back in here, and now you can see why those need to be flush, because, you know, that thing sits down in there, and if they were long, you know, that it wouldn't fit. So they have to be cut off. First thing I gotta get done is I gotta get the brakes apart. Get the brakes off of here. So we're gonna get this off first. The brakes. At the bottom one. I don't know how well this position's going to work in regards to you guys being able to see this very well, but we're going to try it. On this, there's 2 bolts in the back, one at the top, one at the bottom. I don't have the brake lines hooked up, and so if you're doing this, you're going to need to either, you know, tie this thing off out of the way if it's hooked up, or disconnect that brake line. But if you're working on a car and you don't want to have to bleed the brakes, obviously you're going to want to tie that thing up out of the way. Those were a 9/16. I don't know what they are in metric. Then there's going to be these bolts back here. This is an 18 socket. There's 2. I have this gentle persuader right here. If you don't want to beat on your ratchet, then grab you a breaker bar. interesting. So what I like to do is I like to put any of the bolts back where they belong so that I don't, number one, lose them. I did a pretty good job of losing bolts, nuts and stuff. So put those back where they belong, those back where they belong. And I'm just going to set that off to the side. That is the sway bar. And I'm going to get it. There it goes. Got it. Now the other side, it was a little difficult to get that out for me. So, I don't know, we'll see. Wiggle it about. There it goes. And again, I'm just going to put that nut back on that. That's just going to hang out there, out of the way. Okay. The other side is sitting on the, sitting on the tire. It's not on a jack stand, so I don't have the option of just twisting this out of the way. So these upper and lowers have an Allen, and it's a number to 6 on my. So we're going to want to get that Allen wrench up in that. Sometimes they're full of gunk or whatever, so it's a little bit difficult to get that set up in there. I had sprayed these bolts with PB the other day and got them ready. I just now went ahead, hit them again. I'm going to stop there on that one and then go to the bottom and get the bottom so that I don't have this thing flopping around on me. The bottom's a little different when you get this Allen in here because there's nothing for it to rest against, so you'll have to hold it. Okay. There you go, off there, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to want to loosen up these nuts for the strap. There it goes. And as you can see, I forgot to spray those with PB. It would have made it easier if I hadn't forgot. I loosened this up just a little bit, just enough to where this relaxed. And I'm going to get that up out of the way because I got to pull this out. So, okay. Now, we should be able to just sneak that bolt right out. There it is. There it is. There's that. Now we are ready to get started with the drilling and tapping and the fun stuff. But that right there is tear down of one side, and I have 50 minutes. I started right at 8 o'clock and it's 8:50 now, so about an hour when you already know what you need, and that's not including, you know, trying to go find stuff and everything else. All right, here we go. I drilled this out. Drilled it out to that 3/4 hole. So now I'm gonna just start tapping this, and you want to go nice and slow to begin with. You want to put pressure. You want to be square as best you can, and then just go real slow because it'll want to wiggle. And so once it gets started, then it'll start to stay straight on its own. And I've seen guys do this with like a drill. There it is. Okay. Now let's back that thing back out. Stick that thing on there. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten that up. Basically what I want to do is, I don't know if you guys can see it, we'll hit you here, hopefully we got you at a good enough angle, but I want to be the same across this line right here. That Allen fits in there really good. So, it looks like it was sitting there pretty good. This right here, I want that reveal to be the same, and then try to lock it in so it is. If it moves a little bit, then I'll try to pull it back, and then so right now I got the reveal a little off, so I'll just tap that. I think I like that. Oh man. Bending down is just not my style anymore. So the next thing I want to do, now that I have that locked in, is I want to try to get a punch right in the center of that hole, you know. You can, you know, probably mark that out and then take these off and then get exact with your center punch. Okay, so I got that in there, and then just, you know, get that center punch. Right, now I'm going to get a small drill bit. So something that I think is worth noting before I mark the two bolts on these upper small ones, I'm going to put this through and just get it snug, and then checking my reveal on this side like I just did on that side, and just making sure that, you know, this bolt, I'm not getting it weird, right? And then I'm going to lock that in on this side, so you can see how it'll try to move, but I want this bolt to be still able to move in and out real freely. Like that. I really didn't do myself any favors putting that. Okay, tap those. I'm going to tap them. I'm going to leave this bracket on here. At first, that initial trying to get it to bite, you know, it's hard because you got to keep it straight and you got to push pressure and this thing's so. Got those tapped the rest of the way and got the bolts in there, and that's what it looks like before you cut those bolts flush. And that just goes to show you, you know, that you need to cut them flush. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my skinny wheel and my grinder, and I'm just going to reach down in there, and I'm going to get a mark on all those, take them all out one by one, and cut them off where that mark is, and then stick them back in. It's worth noting that I'm going to put anti-seize on these so that it doesn't do weird stuff between the aluminum and the metal. And you know, this is going to be entirely different for a guy if he's trying to do this with a metal lower control arm. This would be different. So anyway, keep that in mind. So I'm gonna get these marked and get them cut. So the last thing I really wanted to show you in regards to why do you need the 1/2 inch, the spacers, is right in this. It's to take up the distance of this lower control arm bracket. You'll need it right here, right here. So whether or not you use like a wedge like I'm using these 2 wedges, just put them together. I'm sticking those in between there. And I did have to take some material off of those. But you could, cut a chunk of pipe, to make up that distance. You could stack washers, whatever, but you will have to make up that space. So be aware of that. So now I'm just going back together with this thing and then see what it looks like when it's setting down. I did have to pick up this Allen, so if you don't have an Allen the size of the one you're using, make sure you get those before you get started. Especially if the car's your daily driver and it's what you got to use to get back and forth to the hardware store. Oh, whoops. Why is that biting me? Because it wants me to put these in. Now I'm back on track. tools here that I'll have to clean up. In a minute. Just get us a tire put on there. Trying to grab that tire without knocking you guys over. I won't tell you. It's lower. The tire don't want to go in like that. It's not really fun. Really do feel for you, for those of you who actually have work jobs that we have to look at a computer screen all day, because for the first time in my life I'm doing something that I've had to do that on a regular basis, and it's not fun. I wanted to go over this, and I was mentioning I wanted to get kind of specific. This is the bracket for the Outcast Custom. This is the other one. This will do one side, front and rear of, like this is the driver's side. I already did the passenger side. So these two pieces is what you get from Outcast when you order it. You get 4 of these. You get 2 for the driver's side and 2 for the passenger side. So you don't get anything else with this, and so I went to my hardware store and purchased these bolts. These are actually a 3/4 16 count on thread. This is 3/8. Same thing. I just went to the hardware store, picked these up. So you'll need 4 of those. So basically, I picked up the 3/4 because the size of the hole that Outcast Customs provided, that was the size of the hole, and I did not want this hole to be sloppy. Now on the actual hole for that's in the lower control arm of the Crown Vic, it's like a 5/8, so I actually had to drill the hole a little bit bigger in order for this tap to work. That's why I have this drill bit here. So when you do this, you're gonna need, when you order these, you're gonna need this bolt. So 2 per side, so you need 4 of these, and you'll need 8 of these, so 4 per side. The distance you're gonna need that it's about a 1/4 inch thick there, and then a 1/2 inch thick on the aluminum lower. Some of those Crown Vics, as I understand, had a metal lower control arm. Mine is aluminum. So really all I needed here was a 3/4 inch shank on this. This size that I got, the hardware store didn't have anything shorter than this. This is 1 inch. So I went ahead and just got the same size on these, and then once they're run in and tightened up, then you got to mark them and cut them off. You saw that where I had to cut them off. So any rate, that's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need 2 taps, one for the 3/8 and what thread count you get, and one for this bigger bolt, whether that's a 3/4 National Fine is the thread. It's a 16 count. Whatever you buy, if you don't buy this National Fine or the 16 count thread, then you're going to need a different tap to to make that work. So any rate, you'll need 8 3/8 and 4 of these 3/4 or 5/8 or 11/16, whatever it is you use. Like I said, I just use the size for the hole that's drilled into the brackets for the Outcast Customs. The other thing is a spacer. So these are just like wedges. I didn't need these wedges. This is just what was cheaper, and I decided to go with. I had to adjust these. It's a little too thick, but so this goes. You've seen it in the video, but this goes against that lower control arm, and then there's a space that you have to make up on this bottom hole, and it's not quite a 1/2 inch. So you would need 4 of those, two per side, and then the 8 bolts and the 4 bigger bolts, and then whatever taps you're going to need. So that's what you will need before you get started. You order these, and it's not going to get you everything you're going to need to get it done. It's worth saying that I started this morning on the driver's side at 8 o'clock, and it's now noon. So roughly 4 hours per side. So you're looking at about an hour, 8-hour job. And if you've never done it before, you might, tack an hour or 2 onto that. So if you're looking to do this on your daily driver, like I said, on a weekend or something like that, it's going to take you a full day on a Saturday. You're going to be into it 10 hours probably. So, well, that wraps it up for me. Hopefully that you like this video. Hopefully it was informational. I'm really just hoping that some of the stuff that I'm doing is helping somebody else accomplish the same thing, or like this Outcast Customs, could be an application for a Crown Vic that you got as a daily driver that you just want to lower down. So it's roughly 2 inches is what I'm measuring. The holes on that bracket actually measure 1.5 inches. So however that works out, I wouldn't expect any more than 1.5 inches, but the measurements I took, it looks like it's closer to 2 inches. But with that said, like I said, I hope you like this video. If you do like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it, comment. All those things really help out for the channel. And until next week, have a blessed week, and happy Resurrection Day. Tomorrow's Easter. For those of you who, if it's Easter, it's Easter to you. But if it is just Easter to you and it's not Resurrection Day, then investigate that, because you need to. Yep. Anyway, we'll see you next week.